Divya Deshmukh makes her way to the playing hall of the World Junior Championship 2024. She's playing in the girls section and she's currently leading the tournament with 8 out of 9. This is her normal routine. She gets a bottle of water for herself, then enters the playing hall, and she's late to the game. I think some players do prefer that so that they avoid all the tension with waiting for the first move to happen and so on. So she enters the playing hall. She's playing against Sachi Jain, who's been in great form. Shake of hands there. Sachi gets up as a mark of respect. Divya is on 8 out of 9. And if she manages to win both the remaining rounds, she'll be the champion, because the next player, Mariam Makarchian, on that joining board is at 7.5 out of 9. So she's half a point behind. Divya adjusts her pieces and opens the game with 1c4. So it's the English opening here, and let's see how Sachi responds. Sachi has had a great tournament here. E6 is her response here, and the rating difference between both these players is 325 elo points. So it's a lot of difference here. But we have the Queen's Gambit declined set up. Will Divya go d4 here? Seems logical. She plays her pawn to d4. So we are now in QGD territory. And Sachi plays her bishop to e7. The reason why this and Divya takes, the reason to delay the development of the knight to f6 is that bishop g5 is not easy, ed, and Divya develops her bishop to f4. Okay, now Sachi is thinking a bit, so it feels like she has been brought out of her prep here. Of course, there's an entire day that the players get to prepare for their opponents, but with Divya playing so many different lines, it's not so easy. c6 played by Sachi here. Now this entire structure that we have on the board is known as the Carlsbad structure, where white has 5 pawns on the king side, 2 pawns on the queen side, black has 4 here and 3 on the king side. It leads to very interesting positions and decisions, because white tries to play on the queen side sometimes with b4, b5, and sometimes in the center with f3, e4. For now, Divya develops her bishop. Notice how she keeps her knight on g1 flexible, because it can go to e2 or f3, and bd6 played. Now the bishop, which had already moved once, is moved again and offered for a trade. Will Divya take it, or she can also play knight g e2? Oh, she plays knight f3. Wow, that's a very interesting decision, because after bishop takes bishop, she's ready to take back with the pawn, and Sachi takes it. She takes here, and this is something for all of us to understand. Why would Divya voluntarily take doubled pawns? Well, one of the main reasons here is that she has control of the e5 square. That's the most important reason why you are ready to double your pawns. But is this good in this particular position? Only time will tell. h3, lovely move. The thing is, you want to castle so that there is no check, but then black can go bishop g4 and chop off this knight. So h3 stops it, and after queen d6, now attacking the pawn, Divya can move her knight to the center of the board. So this is very, very interesting play. She plays her knight into the center, and the stronghold on e5 is just amazing. c5 played by Sachi. She's trying to break the center, and it's very correct what she's trying to do, because she's trying to break the stronghold that Divya has. However, Divya simply takes the pawn, and after queen takes pawn, which is the most likely move, Sachi just pauses there, trying to see if there are any other options in the position, and she takes. Now the thing is, after castles here, white will have a clear advantage, because the pawn on f4 really supports the knight. The pawn on d5 is now an isolated pawn. But still, black's position is not that bad. Sachi can bring her knight out to c6. But she goes a6, which is a slightly weird move. Why would you want to play knight a6? Maybe to stop some knight b5 ideas. Rook c1. Divya quickly brings all of her pieces into the game. So now you have the knights, the bishop, the rook, everyone playing. And yes, Sachi brings her knight to c6. Brave move. Divya could have some dangerous discovered attacks with her rook, but for now, none exist in the position. So I'm very keen to see what is the next move that Divya plays. Ooh, rook e1, getting the final piece into the game as well. Classy chess there. Now, what is Sachi's next move? She goes queen d6. Just bringing the queen away from the influence of the rook on c5. And g4. The attack has begun. And this time you can see Divya is low on time as compared to her opponents. Yes, she has 16 minutes less. But this move g4 is so well thought out. Because sometimes you feel you're weakening your king. But actually she's understanding that she has control in the center and it's not too dangerous. Knight e7 is what has been played. Maybe Sachi wants to put her knight on g6. That could be an idea in this position. How will Divya continue? You don't want to really be pushing g5 here because then the bishop opens up and attacks these h3 pawns. For now, you have space, you have flexibility. And Divya takes her time, a lot of time in fact, 11 minutes, and plays bishop b1. Very interesting move. Firstly, she opens up the queen. Secondly, queen d3 followed by g5 would create some mating ideas on h7. So overall, a great move. And later, maybe you can go a3 and bishop a2. Knight goes to d7, and this is a bad move. In fact, this is a mistake, a tactical error here by Sachi. But will Divya find it? Yes, she does. 10 minutes taken again. Knight e4. Because after d4, the queen is hanging now. This is amazing. Now Sachi needs to find a space for her queen. There are threats like rook takes c8, and knight d7 hanging. So queen at 6 played. She's attacking the pawn on f4 and also on h3. What does Divya have in her mind? Because now these ideas like rook c8, rook c8, knight d7 would not work because e4 is hanging and also h3 is weak. But Divya finds this great move, knight g5. She covers the f4 pawn. She also defends the h3 pawn. So fantastic chess there. She's able to keep up the space that she has. Now the knight comes back. In fact, if you would have taken here on e5, there was bishop takes h7 intermezzo. So that's the reason why knight f6 was played. And Divya enters the 7th heaven. She goes rook c7. She has 14 minutes on the clock. They have yet to make 20 more moves. But look at her position. I think Divya is essentially telling her opponent, I don't worry about the time so much because I have a completely dominating position here. Now, knight g6 is played. f7 is little soft. You can actually take it. Knight e f7. Will Divya take it? She has to take care of her time. She goes bishop takes g6 with 9 minutes 40 seconds. Again, 5 minutes taken for that move. Every decision so precisely calculated. After all, she's 24-56 and going to become one of the strongest female players in the world. fg6 played here. Now the queen is almost trapped, but it has the h4 square. Can we trap it? There. How is Divya going to finish this off is interesting for me. She goes ne f7. Sachi has 15 minutes here. Now the queen is almost trapped, has to go to h4. There's no other square to go to. Yes, she plays a queen to h4, and now Divya should be careful. There could be some sacrifices on g4 that can happen. And she goes with the other rook to e7. The two rooks have doubled on the 7th rank. What an attack here by her. And Does Sachi have the time to sack on g4 is the question. And she must do something on those lines because she might get checkmated otherwise. Yes, she sacks her bishop. This game is so exciting. They've just played 23 moves. Divya has 10 minutes on the clock. Sachi now has 4 minutes. Divya actually walking around. This is confidence with just 10 minutes left on the clock. Also the penultimate round of such an important tournament. And now at g4, knight takes g4 played. Well, knight takes g4. There is a mating idea with queen h2 and queen f2. How is Divya going to deal with this is the big question here. I think she has it prepared. Knight h6 check. Fantastic move. If you take with the pawn, I have check, check and mate there. So that's the reason why you have to take it with the queen. There's no other way in the position. And Sachi knows that the writing is on the wall because Divya has found a series of accurate attacking moves using her time precisely. You can see that now she has 10 minutes on the clock. She's also so relaxed there on the board. Queen takes h6 is taken. You can actually play rook g7 or you can also take queen takes g4. Divya prefers to take with the queen the knight, and now g7 is hanging. You're a piece up. Everything is just perfect for white. Maybe it's time for Sachi to resign this game because Divya has played really an amazing game of chess. I think it was a flawless game by her. And of course Sachi's play could have been improved, but I loved the way in which she took the double pawns, placed her knight on e5, and Sachi resigns. Divya wins her game 9 out of 10. Half a point lead going into the final round of the World Junior Championships. Will Divya become the World Junior Champion? Well, that is to be seen. Also, on that joining board, Mariam Makarchian won her game, which means that Divya has to win the last round, I guess, because she's on 8.5. Divya and Mariam have played each other. That game had ended in a draw. So, we will see what happens tomorrow. But as of now, Divya played a fantastic game of chess.